For this assignment, we're going to be making some boxes in perspective, 1 point perspective, and we're going to make two to start out with, one that is below our horizon line and one that's above the horizon line. The one below is going to look like it's on the ground, and one above will probably look like it's flying in the air. So to do this, to start out, we're going to make a horizon line, and a horizon line is horizontal and it goes across just like that. You can put it in the middle of your paper, and I'm going to put a vanishing point on the left hand side. Really important, guys, that you use a vanishing point, and make sure you use it when you're making your boxes. Use it consistently, because otherwise it might throw things off and you'll wonder why things aren't working right. So I'm going to make two rectangles now. I'm going to put one on the bottom right of my paper. It doesn't really matter how high you make it off the paper. Mine's maybe about like a little over a ½ inch or so. And then I'm going to make other sides of the rectangle. So I'm going to make all four sides, making sure that the top and bottom are horizontal and the sides are vertical, not angled in any way. And I'm going to make a rectangle up on the top of the paper, about the same size. It doesn't matter if you make it bigger or smaller. Keep it around the same size as mine, but I won't be measuring that. I will be looking for the fact that your rectangles are not crooked, that they are straight lines going horizontal and vertical. So these are what we're going to turn into boxes. So I remember I showed you guys that way you can kind of cheat making boxes in 3D. And I've seen a lot of you guys do this, where you have like two squares and you overlap them a little bit, and then you connect their corners and it looks like a cube. So that looks right. However, it's not made in like proper perspective. And there are ways to use perspective so that it works out really well visually, and it never fails really. So we're going to be using that method, not the cheating method. But keep the cheating method in mind. I'm actually just going to take that and move it out of the way. I'll redraw it later on, because I want to show you how that cheating method is actually kind of similar to what we're doing with perspective. But with perspective, it's just a little bit more precise. So from here, we're going to make our boxes. I'm going to start on the bottom one. And remember that as things get further away from us, they go closer to a vanishing point. So if we're making a box that has a face pointed at us, one side pointed at us, then the rest of the box is going to be going away from us in perspective. So that means that from these corners of the box, I would see the sides of that box as it goes back into perspective. So I'm going to take the three corners closest to the vanishing point, and I'm going to match them with that vanishing point so that my ruler is right on that vanishing point and it's right on a corner. And I'm going to hold my ruler in the middle so it doesn't move, and I make a line all the way. If you stop a little early, it's okay. Just want to make sure it has the right angle. Then I'm going to do that to all three. And you might be wondering, like, hey, why am I not doing a line from the fourth corner? And that is because we are looking at this box, and here's one side and here's another side. We can see the box is kind of on an angle to us. So we wouldn't see that far side in perspective, because the other sides would be blocking it. So assuming this is not a see-through box, this is how we'd want to draw it. So from here, you're going to imagine that this is the front of the box, and this is a side, and this is the top. So we want to make this box look like a box and not like this big 2x4 or whatever going all the way back into vanishing point. So we need to cut it off somehow. So if we look at the top and bottom of the side, we're going to follow the lines that we drew to the vanishing point from the front down the top and bottom of the side closer to the vanishing point. And when we feel like stopping, we're going to stop and make a vertical line that matches the one in the front. So we want to make sure that the two lines are matching, that this one's vertical and this one's vertical, and they're both connecting the same lines. So now I'm going to follow the lines on the right and left of the top. So I can start here, and I'm going to drag my ruler up towards the horizon line, and I'm going to stop right when I get to the top of that line I just drew that showed the side of the box. And that would be where the box is going to end, and it's going to create the top corner of the box. So here's where that whole cheating method kind of helps to think about. So I'm going to erase this extra here, get it out of the way. So when we started off our cheating method, we had two squares that overlapped. And then we connected their corners together. Right now, pretty much what we have is here, we have one box or one square and only half of the other square. So this is a not see-through box if we really couldn't see the eraser lines here. So what we'd need to do to make this box look 3D is to add that last diagonal line and the other two sides of the square. So that tells us that here, we're gonna also be needing a line that goes from that farthest corner to the vanishing point, plus two other sides to the rectangle that's showing the back of the box. So what we'll do is this. Imagine that we are making this into a see-through box. That means we would see the corner of this box going back into perspective. So I'm going to start by lining up my ruler with the vanishing point and that last corner and make a line that goes towards the vanishing point. If your line here overlaps this line, don't worry about it, but just know that it is overlapping. So if the end result looks a little weird, that's probably why. So now I have this part of that cheating method. So all I need to do is make the side and the bottom of that square. Same thing here. I have two sides of a rectangle. The back of the box has to be a rectangle because the front of the box is a rectangle. So just made this line going back to the vanishing point. So to finish off that rectangle, I actually make a line going straight down from the end of this line here. And when I hit that diagonal I just made, I'm going to stop. And then now I have three sides of this rectangle. So all I need is that bottom side, and there we go. If I connect the bottom of this side of the rectangle to the line I just drew, I have two rectangles, one that shows the front of the box, one that shows the back of the box. So imagine if I started out with this, and this were my cheating method, I would have started with the rectangle and overlapped it with another rectangle, and then I would have connected their corners, 1, 2, 3, and 4, stopping here. So now I know that I have a little extra diagonal line that I don't need. So I'm going to erase it. So there is my three-dimensional see-through box. And to make a box above the horizon, I'm going to follow the same method. So here's the front of my box. And I'm going to start by making the lines that go back to the vanishing point from each corner that's closest to the vanishing point, only those 3 to start out. And now I'm going to cut this box off. Here's my side. Here's the bottom of the box because it's floating. So to make this look three-dimensional, I need to finish the side right here and the bottom. The side of the box starts out with a vertical line, and we can follow the top and bottom of the side down towards the vanishing point. We'll make this a kind of big box. So I'm going to start right here at the side of the box, follow the top and bottom of this side, and when I feel like stopping, I'm going to make a straight up and down line, vertical, that connects the top and bottom of the side of this box, following the lines that come from the corners of the front, going down. So now I have to finish the bottom. So I'm going to line it up. You can line it up with the front of the box. And I'm going to follow these two lines that show the left and right side of the bottom of the box. I'm just going to follow them down. And when I get to the bottom of this line here, I know I needed to stop. I'm going to scoot that line across. And there I have the flying three-dimensional box. The neater you are when you're doing this, the easier it'll be to see what you're doing. So using a mechanical pencil is really helpful. That's why I like to use mine. So keep your pencil lines little with a mechanical pencil. You always use your ruler, and that should help a lot. So now I have two sides of a rectangle. And if I were using the cheating method, I would need to make the other two sides of this rectangle. And I know that if I have a rectangle, the top and bottom are going to be parallel and the sides are going to be parallel. So I'm going to keep that in mind. But now I'm going to make a line that goes from that last corner off to the vanishing point. And you can see that this line here that I just drew is super close to the bottom of the front of the bottom of the side of the box. So that sometimes it might be that you have an overlapping line, like they actually overlap each other, and then it looks really weird. But just know that you have these two lines here, even if one is right in front of the other, if that were the case. But right now, we have a little distance from them. So the line that we just drew, which is on the bottom here, not the top one here, that's where the two sides of the back rectangle are going to meet. So I'm going to make a line going up, right to that line that I just drew. And then I'm going to make a line going across, finishing up that back rectangle. And then I can erase the rest of that line that I made right there. So there's a see-through box, both on the bottom of the paper and on the top. So I hope that helps clear it up a little bit. If you wanted to do one on the horizon line, I can add one in. The easiest way to do that would be to just show a box that's a little bit on the taller side. I think that sometimes helps when you do it like this. So I'm going to start out with a tall box, and I'm going to erase in here the horizon line. And if I were looking at a box that's at the horizon line, I would see one side of the box only if it were not see-through, because the top is above where I'm looking and the bottom is below where I'm looking. So I would not see the other sides. So to cut this off, it's real easy. I just have to start on one side and drag my ruler over closer to the vanishing point, stop whenever I feel like stopping. I'm going to make it kind of big and cut it off. Then I can erase these extra lines, the top and bottom. And yeah, it looks weird because we don't see much of this box. It just kind of looks like an open book or something. But if we were going to make this see-through, we would make two lines from the corners here, because now we're making it see-through so we could see those other two corners. And then we would need to make horizontals going across here. and a horizontal going across here. And then a line that goes straight down to show the back rectangle of that box. And you can see that it looks a little weird. It's a little hard to tell that it is a box because it's at the horizon line, so it looks a little weird. But that's how you would do it. But this part on the horizon, I won't put it on our graded quiz, but you, well, I guess I can call it a quiz, but you can do it to show me that you know how to do it, and I would possibly give you extra credit. So there we go. That's 3 see-through boxes, one below, one above, and one at the horizon. I hope that helped.